With the new season right around the corner and coming with it a new reprised raid, we're going to go ahead and look at a couple of extremely strong DPS builds so you can consistently be at the top of the damage boards. Our first build we're going to show off is easy to use and easy to acquire, and the second build is a little more advanced, having you hot swap some gear as well as you needing to acquire some raid loot. This first build we're showing off is the Hunter equivalent to the Starfire protocol. You're going to be outputting a pretty good amount of damage with your grenades, your melee, as well as being able to reload your rocket launcher every time you throw a grenade out. The Wither Horde is a strong weapon to always use for damage over time, but make sure only one person in your fire team is using it because the damage does not stack. And the Hothead is super easy to acquire, and you can get one with Demolitionist and Clown Cartridge. All you have to do to acquire it is to talk to Commander Zavala, make sure you have some Vanguard engrams, and then you can focus 2 Vanguard engrams, some Glimmer and Legendary shards, and you can buy as many Hotheads as you'd like. So just keep focusing the Hotheads until you get one with Demolitionist. Go ahead and drop a boss spec in there. And as for your exotic, you should have one laying around, the Young Ahamkara Spine. And if not, you can farm a solo Lost Sector when it's Arms Day. Once you get yourself a pair of these, it will increase your Trip Mine Grenade duration, blast radius, and ability damage grants Trip Mine Grenade energy. So that just means whenever you throw your throwing knife, it's going to give you some grenade energy back. To guarantee we get our grenade back really quickly, if not instantly, we're going to be using Grenade Kickstart. And in your legs, you can use Innervation, which is going to reduce the grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. As well, to maximize DPS, we're using the Blade Barrage Super, which deals a high amount of damage very quickly. Marksman Dodge to reload our weapon. Knife Trick is going to apply Scorch stacks when we hit targets, as well as make us radiant from the Fragment Ember of Torches. And of course, the Trip Mine Grenade, which does a significant amount of damage and applies Scorch stacks. We also want Ember of Ashes to apply more Scorch stacks. And if you're in a fire team, you should always try to have a Well of Radiance just to make you radiant all the time, as well as a debuff like a Tether or a Tractor Cannon. And the way you use this combo is to make sure you have preloaded 2 rounds already for Clown Cartridge. You can shoot your Wither Horde right off the bat, and then you're going to throw your Blade Barrage, and then immediately swap to your Hothead, shoot 2 shots, dodge, shoot 2 shots, throw a grenade, shoot a shot, throw your melee, throw your grenade, manually reload, shoot 2 shots, dodge, shoot 2 shots, and you should be out of ammo by this point. It's a pretty simple combo of just throwing grenades and shooting your Hothead. And if you ever don't have enough grenade energy, then you can either dodge or you can manually reload, which will put 2 more rounds in the magazine. And then make sure in your legs you're running 2 solar weapon surges. Now this is the more easier to acquire, easier to use DPS for a hunter. And here's a more advanced build if you want to maximize your DPS output. Again, you can use the Wither Horde, any type of submachine gun, and you want the Apex Predator with Reconstruction and Bait and Switch. You can farm the Apex Predator on the Last Wish raid. And if you just happen to get enough red boxes, you can craft it. You're trying to get Impact Casing, Reconstruction, and Bait and Switch. Reconstruction is going to reload it over time and put up to 2 rounds in the magazine, and Bait and Switch is going to improve your damage output after you deal damage with all your equipped weapons. The exotic for this build, we're using Star Eater Scales, which is going to improve our super DPS from picking up orbs of power. It goes all the way up to 4, so you want to look on the left of your screen. It'll tell you how many Feast of Light stacks you have. Once you have 4, you're maxed out, and you're going to do the most amount of damage you can with your super. But that's not all. We are hot swapping, so as soon as you cast your super, you're going to open your menu and switch to the Radiant Dance Machines, which these will activate your dodge ability while near targets and allows you to dodge additional times for a short period. And if there's any adds nearby, you can defeat them to extend the duration. Now initially it's only about like 5 seconds for the Radiant Dance Machines. If there's no adds nearby and you just dodge near like the boss, you're going to get 5 seconds to just spam your dodge. But if there are adds nearby, you can try to kill an ad after you do a dodge. That way it extends your time and it can go up to 10 seconds. And in your subclass, make sure you have Blade Barrage, Marksman Dodge to reload your weapon. You can use Knife Trick again. You can use any grenade for this one. Knock them down and on your mark for your aspects. And your fragments aren't as important for this, so you can kind of go through and use whatever you'd like. So the way to utilize this build to get that top DPS is you have to be kind of near the boss to be able to activate the Radiant Dance Machine. So if it's a long range encounter, you're going to use a different method, which I'll talk about after this. But for this method, if there's an ad nearby that you can dodge next to, or if the boss is close enough that you can dodge next to, what you're going to do, shoot the Wither Horde, cast your super, and while you're casting your super, you're going to switch to the Radiant Radiant Dance Machines. As soon as you hit the ground, shoot your submachine gun. The Wither Horde still should be ticking. So now you should have 2 rockets in your Apex Predator. You shoot the first one and that will proc bait and switch. So then your second one will have a damage increase. And you can make sure you pair that with Solar Weapon Surge in your boots. So you shoot both your rockets and then you dodge near the boss, which is going to reload your weapon as well as activate your Radiant Dance Machines. So now you just want to spam shoot and spam dodge. So you're going to shoot, dodge as many times as you possibly can. And if there's ads nearby, you can try to melee one and kill it to increase the duration of the Radiant Dance Machines. But if not, then you're just going to have around 5 seconds to spam this. And as soon as those are up, you can either manually reload or you can weapon swap and just shoot like another Wither Horde shot, shoot some submachine gun shots, and then swap back to your rocket and reconstruction might be back up. You also need to be on the lookout for bait and switch, because once that's up, you're going to need to reproc it. So this is how to output the most amount of damage in the shortest amount of time. If it's a longer damage phase and you're further away and there's no ads, then that's fine. You can still use Star Eater scales as well as your Blade Barrage for that super damage. Again, if you're at this point, someone should have Well of Radiance and a tether or a tractor cannon. And the method you would use if you don't want to hot swap to Radiant Dance Machines, you probably wouldn't use the Wither Horde. You'd use something else that can do a decent amount of damage like Arbalest. And what you would do is you would cast your super right away, shoot an Arbalest shot, shoot a submachine gun shot, shoot your rocket twice, which will proc bait and switch, reload your rocket once, shoot it, swap back to your Arbalest, shoot a few times, swap back to your Apex Predator, shoot 2 rockets. Now you probably need to reproc bait and switch. So you're gonna swap back to your Arbalest, shoot a few shots, swap to your submachine gun, shoot a shot, and then swap back to your Apex Predator, which should have 2 shots in it. And then you would shoot both those shots to reproc bait and switch, reload it once, shoot a shot, so on and so forth till you run out of ammo. Then you just spam your Arbalest. Hopefully next season there's some broken artifact mods we can take advantage of. I hope this video helps you hunters put out some top DPS numbers in any content going forward.